Baldur's Gate just got a ton of new information. We have some from official sources as well as the Steam page, and even some insider info that will help you for release. I'm also going to cover all the details to get you ready for launch, as well as some of those frequently asked questions with the game. We'll also deep dive into things like itemization, and we'll briefly go over some things that we might see in the future. We got a lot to talk about. What's up, World Streamer? Back in the video, we're checking out all things Baldur's Gate 3. So first up, let's just kind of deep dive into the QA stuff, some of the section stuff there, that way we can get everything kind of laid out. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 was originally in something called Early Access, where people were able to play the first act. However, now it's finally getting its full release with all 3 acts. And so earlier, there was going to be an actual Early Access for the full release. However, now, because the official release date was moved down so much to August 3rd, there will no longer be an Early Access period. So that 72 hours of Early Access is no longer going to happen. Now, we'll be releasing on August 3rd for Steam and GOG. The PS5 version is going to come out September 6th. And that delay is to ensure that they can achieve 60 FPS, which they've reportedly been pretty close to. It's also to note that the PS5 with Digital Deluxe may begin playing Act 1 of the game 72 hours early. So PS5 will get that early access, but it's about a month and a couple days after the PC gets the release. And that early access period, you'll only be able to play Act 1. Now, there also is a reason why it's not on the Xbox, and that's because Microsoft is holding up the release unless the game can launch on both the Series S and the Series X. However, unfortunately, they aren't able to get the split-screen co-op to work satisfactorily on the Series S, which, yeah, it's just an incredibly underpowered console. I wish the Series S was never released, to be honest. It's definitely held back innovation with a lot of these games and a lot of different things like that. It is unfortunate that Microsoft has this sort of limitation in place that has to launch on both the platforms at the same time. It makes sense why they don't want to have the Series S limited, but on the other hand, it also really is limiting the type of games that can be released for the Microsoft console. Now, Microsoft has even dispatched some engineers over there to try to get it working. They did say that it will be sometime after September 6th, if it does come eventually. Now, PC will have that split screen as well as the PS5. It will be limited to 2 players on the same device, and it will require a controller. Now, if you're debating on which edition to get, again, the early access period for the PC release just isn't there, so you can kind of avoid that. There is no early access to Act 1, although you could technically be playing Act 1 right now. But yeah, there's no early access for the game in general. Everything here is pretty straightforward, and yeah, everything here is the same. For the physical collector's edition, you get some digital art books, some digital OSTs, and character sheets, and you also get that physical stuff, including the collector's edition dice skin. For the digital deluxe, there are some song packs here, some exclusive dice skins. There's also a treasure revealian pack, as well as an adventurer's pouch. Now, there was that big community update that we had, where there's a bunch of stuff here detailing what has been happening with the game as of late. They've completely revamped, it looks like, the character creation tab. There's going to be a ton new skin options like freckles. They have new tattoos designs, scars, lips, makeup customizations, accessories like piercings, and even horn color customization. There's also that multi-class system, which really does change the game. There's a ton of stuff there. It looks really complex. You can level up different parts like a druid or even a sorcerer in the same kind of character. It has both roleplay and practical function, and they even removed the ability score prerequisites. A lot of stuff like either would require charisma up to 13, which you no longer need any of that stuff, so that allows you to multi-class more smoothly. And again, each level you have the option to choose a different class to spend points on and begin building a bespoke multi-class character. And there is 12 main classes with 46 subclasses that you can multi-class. They do offer the ability to respec, which is a nice addition. You'll also now be able to recruit mercenaries. There are 12 that you can hire available for recruit, 1 for each class, and each has their own name, visuals, race, and can be respected at any time. Now, you can play the character as a pre-authored origin character. So if you don't want to make your own class, you don't want to deal with the complexities of multi-classes, you can use one of the ones that are pre-selected and pre-made that have a ton of substance there. They're playable heroes, each with their own stories, desires, and attitudes towards the world around you. Otherwise, again, you can create your own custom character. Instead, the origin characters become your companions who may or may not recruit throughout your journey. Now, they also have an all-new alchemy system. You can use ingredients found in the wilderness to create a variety of extracts, then combine the extracts to create potions, poisons, and oils to imbibe or coat your weapons with. Now, again, we did talk about that split-screen co-op, and there is, of course, split-screen co-op. You can see it displayed here yeah, they're in completely different areas, which is really cool to see. Or at least one is in a dialogue option, and one is actually playing the game. There also is, of course, 4-player multiplayer. Now, Baldur's Gate 3 does have 174 24 hours of cinematic content, which is kind of crazy to think about. There's more than 2,000 characters to interact with, and a golden path that takes 80 hours to complete. Now again, I did say that technically you could play the game early now, or at least in the Act 1 period. That's been around for quite a while. However, they make it abundantly clear that saves in the early access version will not transfer into the final game. So any saves that you made now during this time, it will not transfer into that actual release period. Now I do assume that the early access period for the PlayStation will be a bit different, since that's a month away or a month after we get the game, or at least the PC players get the game, as that does seem a bit different, as that is the actual early access period and not the kind of pre-test Act 1 period. I do want to go over that itemization stuff because that is pretty important as to how the game will play. So Act 2 has a huge number of epic and powerful items, seemingly stuff that you didn't see in Act 1. Vendors start stocking tons of items with multiple variants of different item slots. All clothing have armor proficiency that we knew basically already, more weapon abilities, and even uniques as you get further into the game as well. Weapons can be tied to race/weapon abilities that will be also tied to race. There's 9 legendary items in BG3 that are extremely powerful, but these are very well hidden. And some of these items that are mentioned and confirmed to be in the game so far, we have Gloves of the Growling Underdog, which has an advantage on melee attack rolls when surrounded by 2 or more foes. Warped Head of the Intellect, which sets int to 17 in its same place. We have Gloves of Dexterity, which sets your dexterity to 18. This is in Act 2. We have the Vital Conduit Boots. When wearer casts a spell that uses concentration, they gain 8 temp hit points. Graceful Clothes add 10 AC plus 2 dex of a max of 20. There's an unknown chest item that also adds 10 AC plus 2 strength up to a max of 20. And we have a mantle item that gains expertise in stealth checks, and you gain the ability to turn invisible for 2 turns if you end up downing somebody. Some already really cool itemization there. I really do enjoy when items feel very impactful to your character. Now Larian Studios also said there might be some more information coming soon. We have a tweet here who is a director of publishing at Larian Studios, and they mentioned here that they got a few more tricks up their sleeves. This was posted after the Steam blog was posted just yesterday. So there's definitely some more information coming out, especially nearing the release date. And PC Gamer is also releasing a magazine that has not 1, but 4 characters. So there's going to be 4 different magazine releases, and these, I guess, are collector's covers of the PC Gamer magazine that go on sale July 20th. So if you did want to snag those or want anything to collect, there is some stuff here with these 4 different copy releases. In the coming weeks, I will have some more deep dives on Baldur's Gate 3, so be sure to check those out. If you'd like a like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuce.